Welcome to the Spare Time Rewind. Today we're getting back to the basics here, going in on a aquatic cryptids list. Isn't that right, Gerd?
Sure is, Sal. All right. So on the docket today, we have a couple things. We have the Loch Ness Monster. We have Wakele Mbembe. We have the Ogopogo, which is going to be like a little slash to Bessie, which is a little monster from our neck of the woods, our current neck of the woods, not our original neck of the woods.
Ogopogo.
The Ningen, the Bloop. We'll talk about the Megalodon, and then we'll end it with the U-28 monster.
All right, so we're obviously going to be starting with the most well-known, famous of the water cryptids.
Yeah,
Nessie herself.
Man.
We know from previous podcasts that you are not a fan, not a big believer.
I don't
in the
believe
Nessie.
in Loch Ness Monster per se, even though people have said they've seen it going back to 570 something AD. I don't know, man. Like, Loch Ness is just a really big puddle. There's no way in, there's no way out.
It's a lock.
Yeah, it's literally what it is. If there is a way in, if there is a way in and out, it's too small for something of that caliber to freely move around in and survive. You know, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. To me, this just seems like the thing that has sparked all the other water cryptids, especially the ones that we see in North America, which could be like Chappie, which could be the Ogopogo, which could be Bessie, which could be all these, you know what I mean? So
this is one of the older myths I think we've tackled. It goes back to 565 AD.
565. I thought it was like 570 something. But yeah, like some monk said he saw something, right? Wasn't it? Isn't that what we're seeing here?
Yes. A monster bit a swimmer and was prepared to attack another when Saint Columba intervened, ordering the monster to go back. So I just wanted to take a little detour, see who Saint Columba is, just to see. Okay, he was a missionary,
An abbot and missionary, traditionally credited with the main role in the conversion of Scotland to Christianity. Wow, so this guy had a pretty big
Oh,
year.
okay. I thought his I thought this was his claim to fame, but apparently
he actually did something really dope with his life.
doing some other stuff. I mean, I would. He did a thing.
He did a thing.
As to the dopeness of that, you know.
I guess yeah, that's true. The whole Christianity thing.
And you could talk to a few
My ancestors.
IRA members who
Oh,
will have some strong opinions about him and some proletariat.
Why would the IRA have strong feelings about him?
They would be very pro him. They're super Christian, are they not?
Oh yeah, I guess, but like thinking about it, like the IRA is Ireland, not Scotland.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Why would the IRA have anything with this guy? You know what I mean?
I guess Scotland's been pretty chill with its Christianity.
Have you not seen Braveheart, where there was the one crazy guy who's like, "I'm a king, trust me," and he's like,
Honestly, man, have not seen Braveheart.
"You've never seen Braveheart?"
No, man, I feel like I've seen all the clips that I need to
No,
like get the gist of it.
Have you seen them pull their pants down and moon the English army?
No, but
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like I get the gist of it from you just describing
Yeah,
that to me.
it's still, you should really watch Braveheart if you have 3 spare hours. It's
Because
because
it's 3 hours.
something along those lines.
Oh,
yeah.
my God, 3
How
hours
else?
of Mel Gibson yelling.
Freedom! You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yo, if I wanted to hear Mel Gibson yell for 3 hours, I would be a San Fernando police officer.
Yeah. I was gonna do something along those lines. So yeah, I don't know. man.
Or his wife.
Yeah. Oof, yikes. But like, so the picture that everyone commonly like knows Nessie by.
This one right here. Right?
Yeah, this one. Isn't it like some kid?
Looks pretty legit.
Yeah, no, wasn't it like a pool noodle or something? Like this guy, the photograph that allegedly
It could be
showed.
literally anything, man. It could be just some guy's arm, just, doing like a shadow puppet.
Yeah, it was revealed to be like a kid's boat with like a dinosaur head or something. So like you can't And that's like whenever we see Nessie, it's the surgeon's photo here that this is what we typically think of, right? So like, I don't know if you want to think that there's a random plesiosaur kicking around in Loch Ness when there's no way in, there's no way out. Maybe, but like I'm thinking
maybe there's some sort of toll booth there that it goes through.
There's a portal that the Loch Ness
maybe
monster travels
and
through.
maybe the toll is like $3.50.
Goddamn Loch Ness monster!
All right, so we
This
can.
Girl Scout came to my door, and that's when I realized that Girl Scout was a 36.5-foot crustacean from the Paleozoic, and I said, "You goddamn son of a monster, you get out of here!"
So I feel like the fact that
South Park.
you don't even believe in it
Yeah, man.
means we can roll past this one pretty quick.
Pretty quick, yeah,
So
man.
on just the believability scale, what would you rank Nessie at?
Man, people, a 5, I guess, just
A
because.
5?
Yeah, even though
What are you talking about?
because I don't believe in it, man.
Will we ever? The real question is,
There's a lot of people who believe in this, and like people
the most
apparently.
mythical creature is gonna be one that Gerd doesn't actually believe in.
Yeah,
Because I don't actually think we're ever gonna see anything below like a 3.
but like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, people allegedly see this thing like multiple times every couple of years, and like every year apparently there's sightings. You know what I mean?
There
So,
has
like,
to be people just trolling though.
you never know, man. You never know. And,
All
like,
right,
I'm giving it a 5 just on that sense
a
alone.
5.
Just
All
on
right.
that alone.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You can X that. Yeah.
I'm gonna close this out. We're gonna
So
move
next we
on
have
here.
Bessie, and I only have this one next because Bessie is the one that is close to this kind of neck of the woods. Bessie is Lake Erie's lake monster, and like I totally believe Lake Erie could have one of these because there's a way in and out. And like, sure, it's a little cold for it, but if a bull shark can live here, then why can't a plesiosaur? You know what I mean? So, is there,
Odd that they didn't go with Lake Superior, the biggest, deepest of the lakes.
I don't think there's a decent way in and out, but Sault Ste. Marie does have one, and that's based out of Lake Superior, believe it or not. Sault Ste. Marie does have a water cryptid, so
Oh, of course.
Of
What's it
course they
called?
do.
It's also addicted to fentanyl.
I was gonna say it's called Cessy because the place is a cesspool.
It was born out of the effluent from the steel mill combining with old paper pulp and tube pieces. It was molded together.
No, it was in the time of the Ermitangers or something like that. Apparently they seen it, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, that's why I have Bessie. I'd have Bessie's probably a strong 5 too, just because like they've had sightings going back to like the 1700s and
A
like.
5.2 of the believability.
Well, he'd be a 5. He'd get 5 points. Bessie would get.
Oh, a 5
points.
as well.
Yeah, 5 as
Okay.
well. Yeah, not a 5.2.
And when you
yeah.
said 5.2, I was like, 5 to what?
Yeah.
5 to what?
No, yeah, just 5 points as well. Okay.
Okay.
So we can get rid of that
Okay,
one.
so we're getting all right. Now we're digging into the
Well,
the deeper ones.
let's just go to the Ogopogo
The Ogopogo?
because it's kind of similar. It's another one of those ones. It's
Lake
this-
Monster, Canada. This one's British Columbia though.
yeah, BC, based out of the Okanagan, Lake Okanagan. I'm pretty sure. So this one, there's a pretty good. I forget when it was, but it was a farmer or something, and he was transporting horses through the lake, and apparently, like these massive horses like got pulled under and like drowned. These horses can swim and stuff and everything, and like these things. Got
I love
pulled
how
under.
this is the picture that
I
they
know,
have
right?
of it.
Well, like that's like the. Honestly, that picture right there is the picture of the Kelowna Rockets. Like that's
Yeah,
the
the
mascot for
statue.
their what the face is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what this is.
That's
It's like a,
it's supposed to be
a
like
junior
the
hockey
Kelowna
team.
Rockets face. Yeah, essentially that's what it looks like.
of course.
Yeah.
There's this one also has a song associated with it. We're not gonna play the song
Is
for
it by Stompin' Tom?
potential copyrights.
Because the Sasquatch song is by Stompin' Tom.
The creation. No, it looks like it was made in 1924. His mother was an earwig, his father was a whale, a little bit of a head, and hardly any tail, and Ogopogo was his name.
Oh yeah, that's where I've heard this song before on cryptid shows. Believe it or not, it's catchy.
Should we play it?
No, let's not play it for copyright sakes.
Alright. I feel like it's old enough that it might be public domain, but might as well.
I just also don't
Not
really
chance
want
it.
to hear it.
No.
You know what I mean?
I feel like we get the gist of it. I mean, these are some bars, obviously. His mother...
Spitting.
Yo, your mother was an earwig, your father was a whale. Need a little head? Hardly any tail. Hardly any tail. Hardly any tail. Ogopogo.
What's his name? Yeah, I don't know, maybe, sure. But yeah, so yeah, the Ogopogo, it's another one of those lake water monsters based out of Canada. Same thing, 5, just because I think all of them.
5. The lakes it gets a little sus in the lakes because obviously it's pretty easy to explore a lake.
Oh yeah, you know what I mean.
It'd be weird for it to not be found, you know? Like,
Yeah.
lakes are big, but, like, I assume most of these other ones are oceanic.
This one's based out of South Africa, so this one's kind of like ocean, but this one's also, whereas this...
The Mokele Mbembe?
Mokele Mbembe. So the Mokele Mbembe is a tiny little sauropod-esque. A sauropod is one of those long-necked dinosaurs. So in the traditional sense where you think of a plesiosaur, it has like paddly feet and it's a long neck, this is just literally a long-necked dinosaur and it lives in South Africa. It lives in the water because it's easier to move apparently, but like
It's sort of like a hippo, like carrying its own weight is
I guess, yeah.
excessive to it.
I guess that's kind of what they're going with, kind of like that Jurassic Park whole thing. But like in the opening scene in Jurassic Park, there's like the sauropods and they're coming out of like that lake.
Yeah,
coming out
great
of the water.
scene.
Yeah,
great
that's
scene.
like that whole movie, fantastic.
Oh.
But yeah, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at this South Africa. Essentially it's a sauropod, and like it's big enough that like man can hunt it, but it's pardon me. It's still a sauropod dinosaur, and like it's goes back to like African lore. Where was it? Sightings here, 2000 in April 2000, Cameroon. We see footprints and stuff here, and like. What's really cool is like, see this? Yeah, it was in Godzilla. It was a brief little quip, but it was in the new Godzilla movie, which I think is really cool. It's not that big of a dinosaur if we're looking at it, but it is still a dinosaur.
Dinosaur's a dinosaur.
They call it a water cryptid because it lives in the lake. What does it say? Said to look like a sauropod or a long-necked dinosaur, such as an Apatosaurus or Diplodocus. The Mokele Mbembe was the focus of the children's book Cryptid Hunters by Roland Smith. Its meat's poisonous, as a group of villagers once killed one, and everybody who ate the meat died shortly afterwards.
Okay, so all the people who once killed it and saw it are dead.
Which ate it.
The
people that ate it.
Convenient.
Yeah, it's a little convenient, right? So yeah, it travels in the waterways of the Congo, like a lot of the undiscovered, like uncharted things. You know what I mean?
That Heart of Darkness shit.
Heart of Darkness shit. Yeah. So like Mokele and Mbembe, because like we really don't know what goes on in the jungles, man. There's like tribes of people we haven't really discovered until like there's still tribes of people living in those jungles that we haven't discovered. You know what I mean? Who's to say there can't be a dinosaur? I mean, science.
I mean,
right?
a smaller version of, like, a type of dinosaur, you know, not entirely impossible, I would say. This is one of the first ones that I think,
Whoa,
maybe...
You're on board.
I would get, but, like, on my believability scale, this is getting a 2.
Of course, yeah, shocker.
Like,
yeah.
this is, like, a super-duper long shot. And it's just because, like, obviously these things did exist at one point. And the potential that, like, a dwarfed version of it could have survived in a enclosed ecosystem without, like, you know, being murdered
Kind of like Orang Pendek.
is kind of possible.
Kind of like Orang Pendek.
Which was that again?
Orang Pendek is the Sumatran, the one that lives
monkey?
in... no, it's not a monkey. It's Homo floresiensis, the one that was found in Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah, so like essentially the Flores man, the Hobbit, it was a huge, it was a homo, it was homo lineage, but it was like 3 feet tall. It didn't have to be bigger than 3 feet tall, and like it apparently went extinct about 10,000 years ago, and like that's pretty convergent.
Yeah,
with
it's
us,
kind
you know
of
what I mean?
recent.
So
And again, like the thing with that is though, like a Homo sapien that was like a Homo sapien offshoot would have only had to survive like, you know, like 100,000 years at most, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas this would have had to have been like millions of years.
Yeah.
And that's a really long time to like, you know,
hide. And
to
especially
keep out competing stuff hiding,
Yeah.
especially when it would definitely have to be a dwarfed version of it.
wasn't like
And it's
the
odd that
asteroid like oh my god, what am I thinking of? Like the fallout from that asteroid didn't it last like a shitload of years, like 1,000 years.
Oh yeah, it was really long. So
Yeah.
like whatever did finally kill the dinosaur. I don't know if they've confirmed the asteroid theory yet.
But like even if it was the asteroid, if there was that big enough gas cloud that it like that thing is big enough, like there's no way that I guess there might have been a way, but like in the Congo, but still like I don't think the Congo was there when the asteroid hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. Like let's give I can't discredit this thing though. Josh Gates tried looking for it and he didn't really find it, but maybe this thing gets a 5. I'll keep it in the nice 5 boat, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, like this. It seems like
it's plausible. You know what? No, I think I'm gonna bump this. I'm gonna bump this to a 7. I really want this to be like the inner child in me, like my inner 3-year-old that loved living.
Yeah, a little part of me just like wants it to be real. Maybe that's why I'm leaning towards it.
Because it's a dinosaur, you know what I mean?
Because it's like it'd be so cool if a dinosaur still like managed to finesse it, you know?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
And like obviously there was a lot of scientists usually agree that this creature is a hoax, but some believe that it could be a species of bird or other animal. So yeah, like there's potential that it's like, you know, an adapted, evolved type of dinosaur to a degree, and maybe there's some credence to that. So you know, there's potential there, but
we see
all in all,
and it's funny that we speak of like the Homo floresiensis, which is like the Hobbit man, because like this is essentially a dwarf version of a Brachiosaurus or a Diplodocus, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, it's just funny that we see it like that. Okay, so yeah, I think I bump us up to a 7.
Okay, it's got some potential.
It's got cred.
All right. So now we're on.
This is the Ningen.
The Ningen.
Okay, so this thing's pretty cool. The Ningen is something that was reported by the Japanese sailors and fishermen and whalers in like the 70s, I think. Ningen is Japanese for human. Some people think it is a type of ape that's evolved to be aquatic, and yeah, I don't quite understand it because it ranges vastly in size from.
So an aquatic ape hybrid, it would take super long for something to evolve into an aquatic species, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, it'd take a couple thousand years and time again, and
a couple hundred of thousands of years.
Yeah,
especially like
whales.
Yeah, we have examples of this with like whales and manatees.
Yeah.
And even like a hippopotamus to a degree.
Hippos to an extent are getting there. They're like in the
like a hippo requires water because it just like it can barely support its own weight.
But like with the water shortage that we're putting them through, do we see hippos become a different species altogether in the next maybe couple hundred years, especially with Africa, especially with maybe Africa drying out and becoming
I mean, it is going to benefit like thinner, smaller hippos. Like there's already a form of selection happening.
That's true.
Like, and we saw it with elephants where like
tusks,
the tusks, like the elephants have started growing smaller, if not like any tusks, due to like ivory poaching.
Because elephants ain't stupid.
Well, it's not their physical decision.
yeah, that's true. But like elephants aren't. Yeah, that's true. Elephants themselves aren't stupid, but like that's a whole different.
It would more go down to they aren't stupid, but it's not the factor of their evolution.
Yeah. So what does this say? Ningens appear to have a mermaid tail or other fins on their bodies, while others report they have hind legs and enable them to walk on land. Like I said, it started in Japan, Japanese.
I would argue, what is the potential that this is just sea lions being misinterpreted?
No,
because like that was what the whole mermaid thing. The mermaid thing turned out to just be sailors fucking manatees.
But like you gotta figure,
they saw that and they were like, "Man, that's a tease."
Yeah,
that's where the name comes from.
Man, that's a tease. Yeah. Oh, good God, that's horrible. So then there's like. They've been around since the 70s, but they really like apparently they gathered steam in like 2007. Because check this out, this is why this can't be a bunch of sea lions. You know what I mean? Like look at that. Like that's supposed to be it's a 60-foot. So yeah, it's massive that thing. Are you seeing what I'm seeing right there?
That's
on
pretty
Google
big
Earth.
on Google Earth.
Yeah,
That could be ice though.
that could be ice, but it's probably not ice.
And like, look at you can even see like a gap in it. Like this small
his
gap.
shoulder's underwater. He's swimming.
I suppose, but that's just a weird angle for its shoulder to be underwater.
So yeah, sometimes Ningen are described to be the size of humans or apes, or other times they appear to be 60 to 90 feet long with blubbery skin of a whale. So like when you do catch a Ningen on screen, like this is kind of what they look like. They kind of look like they have a mouth, they have eyes, they don't really have a nose, they have like a little tail, and they have legs, they don't have any arms. They're kind of freaky looking. See what we're dealing with?
Oh yeah.
Something along those lines. There's like another artist rendition, I'm pretty sure, down on this one. Is it down here? No, it's not here anymore. Oh well. But like, if you really want to watch it, like, you should watch this, because like, this video is really, really creepy. Apparently the government, like, they think the Japanese government really like knows about these things and are monitoring them. Blah, 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 blah. Was it right there? Yeah. Also, rumors the Japanese government is monitoring internet postings and photos of Ningen, attempting to remove them. So, like, would that surprise you that the government's trying to?
I mean, yeah, like at the root of every good conspiracy theory, there's the government's covering it up.
You know what I mean?
So, obviously, like, the knowledge we get can always be subject to question, and, you know.
But, like, so these things are primarily found in, like, Antarctica for the most part, and, like, that's another reason why we don't really know a lot about them, because, like, we don't really
explore it that much.
Yeah, so
it's difficult to get research teams out there.
Yeah.
Normally when they do, they're doing real science.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They're not looking for something fake, 'cause that's a waste of money going out there looking for something.
It's pretty
fake,
easy to get a bunch of camping supplies together and go look
Yeah.
for Bigfoot in the Rockies.
Exactly. That's why it's like pretty much the only people that find this thing are like Japanese whalers and Japanese fishermen, because they're
Coming
like,
soon, our Bigfoot tracking.
man,
This summer.
we are gonna do that this summer, and we are and one of two things is either gonna happen. You're either gonna get lost. I don't trust.
It's gonna turn into some Bear Grylls shit.
I don't trust myself in the woods. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I do have my hunting license, and like I probably could find my way out and do a little bit better of a job, but like not a whole hell of a lot better of a job than you.
With modern GPSs and shit.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, we would totally have to buy a GPS.
Oh yeah, we're not going in there blind.
Wouldn't that make it all the more fun though?
No. Having been lost in the woods, I can tell you that it's not a fun time.
You've been lost in the woods, have you?
Yeah, man, not even. I wasn't even like super deep in the woods. Just like as a kid,
Isn't
I
that
just
crazy?
wandered off a bit too far and lost like track of where I was.
And
it took yeah, man. I don't even, well, like Fort Creek and
it's
like
huge, yeah.
a little bit outside of town too. But yeah, it's easy to just like take it for granted and think like, oh, whatever. It's all like I'm gonna get attacked by a wolf or anything.
Man,
which could happen.
My quarterback in high school got attacked by a wolf.
And then he's
on the Discovery Channel.
and then he turned, and then every full moon.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. Oh my! I never realized that. Hey, Casey. Yeah. Shout out Casey.
Literally, dude. That's literally a TV show, Big Wolf on Campus.
I know, right? Well,
Tommy Dawkins, high school quarterback / werewolf.
That was such a good show. I remember staying up as a kid, as like a 10-year-old, like staying up to watch that show because my parents wouldn't let me stay up till like 10 o'clock, and it was on at 10:30 or something, and I had to watch that show because it was a good show.
That was a great show. Hashtag bring back Big Wolf on Campus.
That'd be a good, cool remake.
Honestly, I think they kind of did it. There was like a shitty like Pretty Little Liars style fucking. It was on like MTV or something.
That's kind of like no. That was Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf,
just
yeah,
Wolf,
that
you know
one.
What I mean,
it's essentially the same thing though.
No, because on Big Wolf on Campus, he only turned into the werewolf at nighttime, and everyone thought that his buddy Martin was a weirdo, but because he knew all about the occult and stuff that we're talking about. But turns out that they had to fight monsters centered around that stupid
occult stuff. It was cool. It was cool. It was basically Buffy the Vampire Slayer with a werewolf.
Yeah, it was a kid's version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for Canadian children. It was pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, like, I'm pretty sure Buffy the Vampire Slayer is kind of like...
Get on that, Netflix.
What?
Buffy really wasn't, though. No, I'm telling Netflix to get on that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, believability scale of the Ningen? Man, I'm going to give the Ningen an 8.
We got a 10-second video. We might as well watch it. I doubt we'll get copied for this. I don't know about this. It looks super creepy. I'll tell you that.
I give it an 8. I totally give it an 8.
All right, we got this picture. What?
And if you scroll to the very top, you'll essentially get a better artist rendition of what that should look like to the very, very top. Not that. That. That's what I think it is. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Well, it's like
Are you kidding me?
It's
It's
like
like a whale with legs.
I know, it's funny looking, right?
Oh my god. Yo, no way do people think this is real.
It's
Are you
like the
kidding?
Fresno Night Stalkers.
This is getting a -2 for me.
It's getting a -2. I don't know why someone
I couldn't believe
drew
in
that.
this less.
I don't know why
Look
someone
at this
drew the
doofy little thing.
Chad full doofy looking motherfucker.
Honestly,
yeah.
put this in a kids cartoon though, and you'll sell a million plush toys
Well,
out there.
aren't those like the what's that stupid game that has isn't it World of Warcraft or something like that has those bully trogs or whatever they're
I don't know, man. This just looks like
It looks dumb as hell.
this
I'm not
looks
gonna
like
lie.
someone tried to draw a frog terribly.
Yeah, and just failed. This looks like 4th grade Jordan trying to draw a superhero frog.
This looks like
We all know how that turned out.
All right, next on the list we got the bloop.
So the bloop isn't really a cryptid. The bloop's a sound.
Okay, that sounds that's more realistic.
Yeah.
Ultra low frequency, high amplitude
Yeah.
water sound. So
People think that the bloop was an ice quake. I'm just gonna give you that.
a low so for those who don't know, a low frequency is the hertz. That's how many times the waveform, like a waveform will have it, if you draw it out, it goes up and down, and there's how many times it goes up and down in a given time period. And low frequency sounds go up and down very slowly, whereas high frequency things go up and down very quickly. But high amplitude is how much it goes up and down, right? So high amplitude, low frequency sound would sound like low pitch to us, but would have like a lot of
Like oil.
strength to us.
Like
Yeah,
oil.
yeah. It would. It's like bass. You know what I mean?
That's essentially what the bloop was.
Okay.
So, people thought that it was a new marine animal, but apparently some people think that it's an ice quake. So here it is, sound profile.
We're definitely listening to this.
That right there, that bloop. So that was heard over like
This is being played at 16 times the original speed.
yeah. So our shitty ears can hear it. So that animal right there, according to NOAA, I don't know what what is it. What does that stand for?
I don't know if I had to guess.
Well, it doesn't give us the-
Northern Oceanic.
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Okay, perfect.
So the NOAA's description, the sound rose in frequency over about 1 minute and was sufficient amplitude to be heard on multiple sensors at a range of over 5,000 kilometers or 3,000 miles for our American listeners.
So it's pretty loud, but honestly, this seems like a pretty easily dispelled thing by just it was an ice quake. That it doesn't sound here. I will stop. I'll stop our background noise here for a second so that we can hear this fully as it goes down.
As the bloop.
So you very much hear the
Yeah, it sounds like me farting in the bathtub.
yeah. So I don't know if that's significant enough to. Oh my god, wrong thing. So I don't know how significant that is in terms of proving anything. Like, what do you think the potential of that? Like, what's your theory on this?
Okay, so if it's not an ice quake, which it might not be,
Most likely is.
so there's like it's the most loneliest animal in the world. It's like this one whale. I don't know if you've ever heard. That's another cryptid we could talk about.
One is the loneliest cryptid that you ever knew.
Let's look up this animal right now. It's the loneliest.
The bloop is the loneliest cryptid that you ever knew.
Loneliest animal on Earth.
Two can be as bad as Bloop.
It's not the turtle. It's. Oh my god. Me. It's gotta be the loneliest animal in the world. Like, it has to be the loneliest animal in the world. I don't care about. I do care about rhinos and stuff, but you know what I mean? But, like. This one, 52 blue. This is what I'm talking about. 52 blue, loneliest whale in the world. The loneliest whale in the world was first discovered in the late 1980s by William Watkins of Woods Hole or Oceanic Institution of Massachusetts. Watkins discovered a signal of a whale traveling in the same way and area as blue whales in the region, but this one is different. While other whales are communicating in 15 to 25 hertz frequencies, this one was vocalizing in 52 hertz. Since the discovery, Watkins and his team continued to record the call of the whale each year until 12 years. However, the discovery remained private until 2004. Following the death of William Watkins, the findings were published in the journal Deep Sea Research. 52 Blue is known as the loneliest whale in the world because he communicates in different frequency than the others. It means that even when the whale is next to a group of other whales, none of the other whales could hear him. That's why this whale was never heard belonging to any whale group. Its call is also never accompanied by another whale call, so this whale is known as a solitary whale all this time, and even when this whale needs friends, it cannot reach them by sound. Imagine wandering around the vast ocean without anyone to like talk to or like hang out with you. So yeah, like,
Can't not relate.
but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm gonna reference for that. So like,
I'm in this
I guess,
photo and I don't like it.
but I don't know. I think the bloop, if it is an animal, like think about how big it has to be. You know what I mean? Like there's molas on this planet that are just absolutely massive in the ocean. Like that's the best part about the ocean. Like it's so massive, and like we could have a bunch of stuff that's undiscovered, and like. We know more about space than we know about what's going on in the ocean, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is why the bloop, we don't have photo evidence, we don't have really, like, a lot on it, but, like, the bloop totally would get the 7, has to be on par with the didn't get in my book, just because, like, who's to say, you know what I mean?
I guess it is a lot to go off of, considering it's just a sound.
Yeah. Just a sound, but I mean, like I just said, there's that 52 whale, 52 blue, you know what I mean? Blue 52, blue 52, say it right! Next, I want to know your opinion on this thing. Since we're talking about giant ocean-dwelling things, since we know nothing about the ocean, what do you think about the megalodon? Do you think it exists?
The megalodon?
Yeah, man.
I think it did exist.
Well, we all know it did exist.
I think, like, there's potential that, like, there could be megalodons that had adapted to, like, living at deeper depths. But I think it's odd that we don't see any of them or any, like, they're huge, they're giant predators. We would probably see instances of them killing stuff. There's probably some evidence of, you know, giant bite marks taken out of, like, sperm whales or
where's that? I wonder if
other
there's
other animals, but I just don't see like why a megalodon would still exist based on, so it would have to fill a niche, and I don't know if it really would. Like it would have to be hunting sperm whales essentially, because it would be living at extreme depths and it would be enormous, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's a lot of energy, and it's also like, because it's cold-blooded,
it can't live that far down.
Yeah, it would struggle to live that far down because like it needs the sun to like stay kind of warm.
Yeah.
There's biological reasons why a megalodon likely wouldn't still exist without us seeing it.
Well, especially with everything being everything around it being smaller, it would have to. Yeah, you're right. It would have to eat so much more. It would expend so much energy going after all of it that it wouldn't make sense to be that big. So like that makes sense as to why we've seen other predators like the great white shark and other stuff, and even like whales to an extent. You know, like whales kind of like oh my god, like not Basilosaurus, because Basilosaurus was a dinosaur. But like whales that were big, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have killer whales, we didn't really have dolphins yet. They were just like they had just diverged like to compete with sharks and stuff like that. And that's just it. Like other sharks have become like sharks are very old and in my opinion are like one of the best suited animals for this planet. It sucks that we're killing them as a species of humans like ourselves.
Get bodied.
But like them and crocodiles, man, they've been around forever and they haven't, and as much as they haven't changed, they have changed. Like we've seen, what's that stupid shark that had like the roll of teeth like in its jaw? It was like a razor. People used to think its jaw went like outside, but like turns out
I've seen pictures of it.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. All you gotta do is just like weird ancient sharks. Literally weird ancient sharks. Yeah.
Weird ancient sharks.
It's gonna be the first. Yeah, it's the first one that shows up. Yeah,
they used the pizza cutter shark.
Yeah, they used to think. Well, that's literally how it looked, and they used to think that it looked like that. You know, with its jaw outside.
Imagine you're a regular fish just swimming around, and then all of a sudden a fucking bandsaw comes after you. A fucking table saw. Just, the DeWalt Power Shark comes swimming at you.
How about this guy? He's a shark that has a carpet on his head and on his dorsal fin. You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, I'll never know. This one's actually a real shark. That's a megamouth shark, I want to say. Or a 7-gill, one of the two. And they think, like, there's a video where it shows, like, the Nautilus cam, where it shows, like, apparently a megalodon, but what I think is a 7-gill shark, attacking, like, bait, and apparently this thing's absolutely massive. But 7-gill sharks can get to be a pretty big size, especially because they live far down.
Well, megalodon, like how big? Like, go through the dimensions of how big a megalodon. Like, find a picture of a megalodon next to
a regular shark.
And
a megalodon's like 60 feet. The average megalodon, I want to say, was 60 feet, compared to a great white, which would like tip the scales at 20, I think. Megalodon, let's do. Oh, right here. That's what we're looking for right there. Okay, so like we're looking at what? From tip to tip, from tail to nose, we're looking at 20 meters, I want to say, is that? Yeah, dimensions in 20 by 8. 8 by 20 in meters, so that's multiplied by 3. Because it's 3 meters in a feet, or 3 feet in a meter, right? So 60. Yeah, 60 feet at the longest, and the lower average, and that's the average, upper average estimate, and this is the lower average estimate. So like the lower average estimate gets to be about 15 meters, which is still 45 feet by 15, which is still a massive animal in itself, you know. The largest recorded great white shark from tip to tip is 2.2 or 2.3 meters tall and just a little over 6 meters long, which is still like in itself like a fucking big animal. But you know what I mean? Like, it's easy to see how something that big would die off compared to a regular great white or a bull or something. You know,
it's just excessive in terms of
yeah,
energy in versus the benefit.
Yeah. This picture, I think, perfectly describes it right here. Because look, it's trying to attack an orca, and like an orca is easily gonna be able to like it
Will
like avoid that.
outswim
Yeah,
and outthink it.
yeah, it's going to be able to like,
And it would have to catch multiple orcas
which
to
would never
survive.
happen. Yeah, the orcas would kill it before. Yeah,
Well, I don't think the orcas would kill it. Like,
I
that is huge.
I think the orcas could probably kill it. I think enough of them could probably kill it. You know what I mean?
And I guess like swimming, like with aquatic
Cool.
warfare, like turning speed is pretty relevant, and being able to get behind something.
Yeah, yeah, and well, that's why the sharks
Like it would
have
have
their tails like
they
that,
have
right?
yeah. Like it wouldn't be able to whip its tail super aggressively to do a ton of damage. It is terrifying though to see something like that.
Yeah,
like,
I'd be super terrifying to see an animal that big. I wanted to know your opinions as we were talking about mega animals, bloop and stuff. You think the megalodon's real? Still kicking?
no, I don't think so. I think it's like most other what's the term for it? The super large like
Megafauna?
yeah, megafauna, mega predators though.
Yeah.
They're like most other mega predators, they can't sustain themselves without other megafauna to prey on, right? Like
Yeah.
whenever every
Big needs
example of mega predators, there's a ton of megafauna and megaflora to support the megafauna.
Because big needs big. Small is always faster. It's kind of like what we're seeing in basketball right now. You know what I mean? Okay, so the credibility for you, Megalodon still exists? For me, I'm giving it a 2. Because, like, maybe, but, like, doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
And will you?
I'm gonna just give it a 0.
A 0?
I don't like maybe like a 0.5. Like who knows?
Awesome.
I haven't spent a ton of time exploring the ocean personally. I'm no Jacques Cousteau.
Jacques Cousteau. Personally, I prefer Bill Murray from Life Aquatic, but hey. And lastly, this brings us to the U-28 creature. The U-28 creature is apparently it's a crocodilian, 60-foot crocodilian-like being that was exposed in World War I. So U-28 was a U-boat, a German U-boat that sunk. I want to say it was an English battleship called the Liberian. And while the U-boat was going, or while the U-boat shot the battleship, the explosives, the boat went down, and the explosion of the explosives that were going underneath like caused this giant crocodile to like come out of the water and like expose itself. So people say it was a crocodile, but I think it could be a plesiosaur, not a plesiosaur, a mosasaur. That thing we saw in Jurassic World, the thing that ate the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it could be a mosasaur because, like I said, we don't really know what's going on in the ocean, right? So, like, who knows?
I mean, whatever. If there is like a hyper enormous aquatic animal, it would have to have adapted to living at super low levels in the ocean. Like it would be at insane depths, right? Because that's the only place it could really hide.
Mm-hmm. Some investigators have theorized that this encounter could indicate a surviving specimen of pliosaur or mosasaur, both of which are thought to have resembled gigantic crocodiles. The fossil record of these creatures also seems to indicate that their spines were very flexible, which could account for the more serpentine-like movement of the U-28 creature and so-called sea serpents, sometimes spotted in this area of the world. So this what happened in Germany? Where did the British steamer Iberian. The captain of the U-boat, Commander Freiherr George G. von Forstner, described the encounter in the following passage taken from his logbook. On July 30, 1915, a U-28 torpedoed the British steamer Iberian, which was carrying a rich cargo across the North Atlantic. The steamer sank so swiftly that its bow stuck almost vertically into the air. Moments later, the hull of the Iberian disappeared. The wreckage remained beneath the water for approximately 25 seconds at a depth that was clearly impossible to assess, when suddenly there was a violent explosion which shot pieces of debris, among them a gigantic aquatic animal, out of the water to a height of approximately 80 feet. At that moment, I had with me in the conning tower 6 of my officers of the watch, including the chief engineer, the navigator, and the helmsman. Simultaneously, we all drew one another's attention to this creature of the seas, this wonder of the seas, mein bed, which was writhing and struggling amongst the debris. We were unable to identify the creature, but all of us agreed that it resembled an aquatic crocodile, which was about 60 feet long, with 4 limbs resembling large webbed feet, a long pointed tail, and a head which also tapered to a point. Unfortunately, we were not able to take a photograph, for the animal sank out of sight after 10 or 15 seconds. Yeah.
Great accent.
Yeah. Took me a while to get into it there, but I mean, hey.
No, man, no. I was transported there. You know.
Good. Yeah. Glad to bring you to a U-boat 28.
You know, people don't do German accents a lot, but you nailed it.
I wonder why they don't do German accents a lot.
Yeah, it's
almost a bad omen, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I've heard some things saying that apparently, like, the log, like, this didn't happen. Like, he didn't report this in the logbook originally. But who's to say? Like, if it really is real, it could be a mosasaur. And like I said, like we just talked about with those last two. You know what I mean? Like, pliosaurs are mosasaurs. Like, you're gonna bring up both of them. Oh, it brings it up in the
sea monsters.
Yeah, there's a bunch we could have talked about, but I talked about just a couple. Hey, look, Megalodon, it's right there. The Luska's another one we could have talked about too. The Kraken, I guess. Bobo. I'm intrigued.
The Kraken, I would believe, like, the most, because we know that giant squids exist, you know, and...
Yeah, but, like, the Kraken is, like, the same thing as the Luska. You know what the Luska is?
No.
Okay, so we could talk about the Luska, too, I guess. So the Luska is a giant octopus that lives in the blue holes. Apparently it's a half shark, half octopus, sorry.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Let's not focus on it being a half shark. Let's focus on it being more of a full giant octopus.
A giant octopus?
A
giant octopus has potential because, you know, it could theoretically survive in the depths. You know, it wouldn't need, like, the same level of, like, warmth as a shark or a dinosaur. Like, that's one of the reasons I was, you know, somewhat believing
in Mekele Mbembe and
yeah, because it is, well, Mekele Mbembe is in a really warm area, which would facilitate a cold-blooded animal, you know, living in secret, especially if it had become like a pygmy-sized version of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not saying is impossible, it's just there's not a lot of evidence, and we probably would have seen one by now. You know, it would be such a big get, like, I don't know why, like, you know, it's a thing that people have been, like, we haven't been exploring these things, but, like, people have been exploring the Congo and all these areas for long times.
Where is it? Some people think that, obviously they give it half shark, but I think it's just because of how, like, viciously it attacks people when it does attack you, because, like, when you get pulled down by the Luska, like, you're not coming back. But, Jeremy Wade from River Monsters, he thinks it's an octopus too. It actually says that right. No, it says that right there. So it's apparently lives. Many reports of the creature from the blue holes. I was gonna say, do you know what the blue holes are?
No, you're gonna have to break that
Okay,
down.
so they're off Andros Island, an island in the Bahamas, as it says right there. On January. So the blue holes are like a series of holes of underwater passageways that, like, take you out to different parts of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's kind of what the Luska is. It's like, kind of think of it as the Kraken, right? Because the Kraken lives in, like, the Caribbean and, like, those, like, the tropical areas.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if there's holes, blue holes taking you to, like, where is it? Based on their knowledge of octopus morphology, local fishermen estimated the total size of the sea creature living to be some 20 to 30 feet. That's the size. Yeah, it travels to the blue holes, and like it can travel since it's an octopus, right? It's an aquatic animal that's used to living in low light.
Well, octopus also have the ability to squeeze through very small holes and areas.
Yeah.
That allow like a lot of stealth. They're also great at hiding. We know that.
Yeah.
And they can. Some cephalopods can even use active camouflage and match the texture and colors of objects around them, and they're also fairly intelligent, so they would know when to employ that.
Some people, mainly Joe Rogan, think that octopus are actually like they're extraterrestrial. Do you know that?
Of course he does.
Same as mushrooms too, though. He thinks that mushrooms are
I did
extraterrestrial.
TMT with an octopus one time while I was hunting, and it taught me some new MMA moves that I'd never thought of. The go-go plot it put me in was insane.
I really hope Rogan
JD,
finds
pull
this.
that up.
I really hope Rogan finds this.
There's no way.
I know. In my wildest dreams. So yeah, the U-28 monster, I guess, because I X off that. I don't know, man. Like the U-28 monster, since we're gonna go back to that briefly. 6.
6?
Yeah, I don't know, cause like it was reported apparently in the logbook and by like a naval officer, and those people don't lie.
Okay, so.
But at the same time, it was World War I, and they were fighting against us. So
I mean, like, yeah, there's all kinds of lies and propaganda. And back then too, like, people wouldn't understand a lot of stuff, or would see things and have no way to verify it. Like, you can go a little crazy being out at sea or in a submarine for super extended periods of time.
What's that called? Stockholm Syndrome?
No, that's when you identify with your captor.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
No, I'm not sure. Google it. Just Google what sea madness is.
Yeah.
The madness of the ocean.
It's literally called Ocean Madness.
Oh, it's TV tropes.
Oh.
That doesn't sound super
No,
legit.
never mind. That's an Iron Maiden song, so no.
Iron Maiden. Sea of Madness.
Just give me Iron Maiden songs.
Whatever. Type in use insanity instead of madness. Oceanic insanity.
Ocean and Santorini? Nope. It's just giving me YouTube links to shitty music videos. Madness caused by... Would it be isolation? Because, like... You're technically, like, you're isolated. You're at sea.
I guess.
Would it be like an offshoot of it? Just give me a friggin' name! Prairie madness, maybe. Causes. Prairie madness was caused by the isolation and tough living conditions on the prairie. The level of isolation depended on the topography and geography of the region. Most examples of prairie madness come from the Great Plains region. One explanation for these high levels of isolation was Homestead Act of 1862. So, I don't know. It could be prairie madness, even though you're, like, confined in a little shit.
Essentially that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, you could attribute it up to that, but, yeah. So, yeah, the Luska definitely... And then there's the Luska. The Luska definitely gets an 8 for me. It's just being an octopus. If it's a giant octopus, like, who says it can't be a 40-foot octopus, you know what I mean?
No, for sure. Like, the giant squid was, only recently discovered, and squids are a lot stupider than octopuses.
Yeah. Octopi.
So...
Octopus. There's the Black Demon. This one's just like another megalodon, but like from Mexico, essentially.
Okay.
El Demonio Negro.
You also have to remember that a lot of stuff is perspective based. Like, you could, if I was ever being attacked by a shark, I would be like, yeah, it was like 100 feet long.
Yeah, of course. Right?
Jaws
Yeah.
the size of a Kia Sorrento. You know, because it's a shark and it's attacking you and you're terrified and you're gonna exaggerate.
It's a false killer whale, essentially, is what they're listing right here. Sorry, I'm looking at different cryptids right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting off topic. Okay, so I guess that's where we're at. Luska gets an 8. That was an added monster for your bonus.
Yeah,
For
bonus
your
monster.
enjoyment.
Sea monsters obviously have a slighter higher probability because we haven't explored the oceans to the extent that we've
Yeah.
explored everything else.
And even then, if we look at other stuff too, like you want to pull up what a sea skate looks like.
A sea skate?
Sea skate. Boom. These things are ugly. It's like you took a shark and you just like applied a bunch of gravity to it, because it literally like when you see a sea
Oh,
skate.
look at this one!
When you see a sea
Look
skate,
at this one, though. You look so happy.
you look happy. Yeah, it's funny
It's
because
just like a manta ray, though.
not really. A sea skate is that's a sea skate, right? Those two things right there are sea skates. So like they're closer. They're sharks, essentially, but they're adapted to living on the bottom of the ocean because yeah, a ray, like sharks and rays are related,
Mm-hmm.
but like that's not funny, right? Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that funny? Go up a bit.
Also this.
Yeah, that's great too. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Jesus.
I hate everything about it.
Yeah, Jesus. Where is it? Down a little bit. Down. That one right there. That's more or less what they look like. So like, picture that thing, right? Like you're seeing that thing. If you were to reel that thing up from like the ocean, if you're like,
I mean, the first dude who saw a manta ray was probably like, "What the actual fuck?"
and that's why we get all these maps that have all these creepy, weird, demon-looking things drawn on them,
Because
right?
they're seeing stuff that, like, to them is hard to explain, understand. When you see stuff in water too, it alters your perspective of it. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's a lot harder to get a realistic. Like when you see this popping up at you, you'd be like, "What?
What the hell?" Yeah. Luckily, skates and those things live at like super low depths, and we don't see them very often. Like we don't know a whole lot about these things, but like, and that's what I think is the best part about the ocean. You know what I mean? Is that like we don't know a whole lot about it. We literally know less about the ocean than we do about outer space.
I don't know about that."
Well, yeah, we know more about outer space than we do with our own oceans, apparently.
No,
So say the best
Yeah,
minds in the
I think
world.
that's just one of those like, oh, we've explored our own solar system more than we've explored the ocean.
No.
Which, like, to make, like, yeah, we have telescopes and stuff and can see really far and whatnot, but, like, that being said, I definitely wouldn't say we understand more of, like, you know, the universe.
That's true.
Like,
One of my
the
ultimate...
universe could very well be infinite. And I know people will talk about, like, the edge of the universe. My conspiracy theories
That's for a different podcast.
relate a lot
Yeah.
to space.
Conspiracy theories that don't revolve around cryptids. That's another thing we can get into, I guess, another time.
Yeah, man. So, this is as good a time as any as to, call it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just going to put that out there. If there's anyone that is listening to this that does have a lot of money and that wants to make a personal dream of mine come true, hey, look, a Leviathan. Cool. Or a Hydra, I guess, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's going in the fucking thumbnail.
Yeah, buddy. If you have access to one of those, what is it?
Submarines?
Yeah, like not
You
a...
want to take a submarine?
One of those Nautilus things, man. I've always wanted to take one of those James Cameron things down. If you have access to one of those things, man, hit me up. I would totally love to go. I've always wanted to do it. I'll pee in a bottle if I have to. I don't care. All right.
Suck your dick to go in the ocean.
I hate water, but I will totally go down.
You
on
hate
those
water.
I hate water with passion. Yeah.
I am terrified of the ocean,
It's not that I'm
but I'm
terrified.
totally willing to get into.
So long as I have a safe glass bubble around me to
I
protect
don't
me,
know.
I totally will go down in the infinite dark depths of the ocean. I don't care if a whale eats me. I'll die happy and crushed.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, if you have access to bring me down there, totally do it. Looking for a way to get down there, but if not,
Hitchhiking at the edge of the ocean.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Ocean.
Ooh. Good sequel.
So this has been Spare Time Rewind. Thanks for listening. This is Gerd Beard, and
Advise celery.
we'll see you next time.
Peace.